think if we could just realize, and it's hard to break that cycle and to really look deep into yourself and say, my parents did the best they could, and I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to change some things for my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you mentioned? What are your grandsons' names?
Sonny, he's 7, and Wyatt, he's 3.
Sonny and Wyatt.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your daughter. What's your daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Cassie.
Cassie.
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful that even though you had a daughter, you were able to do things for her that, I mean, how do fathers, raise their daughters? We probably see lots on TV and different things and experiences. And I'm glad that you were able to break that cycle so that, like you allowed yourself to even in the parts that you felt like you wanted to do better. Like it was part of our journey. Our journey is still part of our journey. But when we get to that consciousness of saying, man, maybe I can do something different for this one, right?
Yeah.
And then through her, what you were able to do for her helps her to be able to do that for Sonny and Wyatt. And then you get to see them and witness them and
definitely
and take Wyatt, who you said is 3, right? So
he's wild right now.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. And maybe the 3-year-old and yourself you weren't able to take care of, you were able to like share that love with him.
Yeah, for sure.
To be like,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely I think if things had been, I see a lot of me in him.
Yeah.
And that wild, kind of crazy, just fly by the seat of your pants. Where Sonny's really like reserved and artistic, and they're completely polar opposites. And so they have a little bit of both of me in them. So which is great,
Right on.
But, yeah, that's the best for me. To be a grandfather is the best feeling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. My name is Ashanti Branch, and I'm really glad you've joined us. Today's guest is Chris Harrigfeld. Chris and I have a really interesting meeting story. We met the first time at my first Everyman men's circle. I was invited by one of our previous guests, Adam Rosendahl, and when I got to the space, there was some men there sitting on the floor and the couch, and was welcomed in. And met Chris, when I first saw him, maybe if you haven't seen him yet, he has tattoos on his arms. He's a big guy. And, I've just never really had a lot of connection with people who are really all tattooed up, right? And I think in those spaces of a circle of men, part of it is not going into judgment. But when we got around the circle and did check-ins, oh man, it was just amazing how the outside image, the mask, can sometimes be so different than what's really going on. I mean, I met a man who was open-hearted, who was wanting to connect, and that was a really meaningful time in that circle that night. That was my first introduction to Everyman, and as you may know, I run a circle with Everyman on Monday nights for Black men. And one thing that Chris and I, when we've had meetings outside of those circles, just to really talk about what is it like to be two men from different backgrounds, but being able to have thoughtful, open, heartfelt communication and connection. To be able to look a brother in the eye who doesn't look like you, who's not from the same background as you, and to be able to say to that man, I love you, brother. Really powerful. If you haven't experienced it, I encourage you to find a circle that you can go to where you can be not only seen, but heard, and recognize that there's so much more that we have in common that you would never know by looking at us on the outside. That's what the work of the Million Mask Movement is all about. Being able to help people around the world realize that you're not alone. One of the things that you'll hear in the conversations, I talked to him about being the first episode after the 1-year anniversary. So as you can see that this episode was recorded maybe 2 months ago. As we in this podcast are trying to hear from voices from all men, all ages, backgrounds, countries, we space out our podcast in a way that we can hear from a multitude of different voices. And so I'm hoping that you enjoy today's episode. And for those of you that this is your first episode, I invite you to make a mask. If you haven't made a mask, what you will hear us talk about is this activity that we're doing. And you can go to 100kmasks.com. That's the number 100kmasks.com. And you can make your own mask. You draw a picture and write 6 words. The front of the mask are things that you gladly let the world see about you. The back of the mask are things that you maybe don't talk about much or don't let people see. This can be done in an anonymous way, and we invite you to be a part of the Million Mask movement. Thank you for being a part of our show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing, and we really hope that you learned something today. Please share this with somebody who you think can get some value out of it. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation with Chris Harrigfeld. Welcome to Taking Off the Mask. I'm in there now. I'm in there. All right. I think I can do it now. Are you ready?
I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. Well, the way I'm gonna have you now pronounce your last name for me, because I Kevin and I were trying to say it back and forth to each other. I'm like, I'm gonna say his last name wrong. Say your last name for me.
Harrigfeld.
Okay. Yeah. He was more right than me. Harrigfeld. I got you. Chris, we've been knowing each other for a little while, but I want to welcome you to the show. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, Ashanti. Thanks for having me on. I'm honored.
Man, I am so glad. We've been playing tag, and we were trying to connect, and glad we got to have you. You're our first episode on year 2. So first of all, thank you for being with us. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I'm excited to have this conversation. It's not an interview. It's a conversation. We've had lots of conversations. So, we've had lots of off the mask conversations, mask off conversations, and so I'm excited that we get to have another one today. And please introduce yourself. Tell people who you are. What would you like people to know about you right now? And then you and I will jump into the mask.
Okay. My name is Chris Harrigfeld. I think first and foremost, I'm a father, caretaker, humanitarian, car builder, lover. I love humans. I love people. Love connecting in all different ways. People of all different races to ethnicity. From different backgrounds. I love just connecting with people and find out where they're from and what their background is and how similar we all are. Yeah.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, I know we we hinted at that you do work with cars, so I'm looking forward to letting people know how they can find out what you're up to in that work. But okay. So the way it works is this conversation is really about these masks, and so you as a guest, you get to decide who goes first. You either decide I go first or you go first, and then we will jump in, and then you'll once you decide who goes first, you'll go to the front. And then I'll do the front, or vice versa, and then we'll do the back. Yeah.
I'll go first. I'm usually the guy that always says you go first, but I'll jump in.
Okay. All right.
First.
Fantastic.
So are we supposed to put our mask up and show this?
Yeah. You start. Yeah. Just if you can fold it over so that let me see. We'll just kind of fold it and then just show the front half, and then then we'll do front, and then you and I will do the back.
Okay. Here we go. So, let's see if we can see this, if I can do this. Loving, hardworking, gentleman, warrior, and empathic.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
It's kind of all over the board, I guess. But
yeah.
I've always been a loving person, even as a little boy. I always remember, I always tried to help people out. I remember that as about 3 years old. And always wanted to make sure everybody was okay around me and that everybody was in a good space. I remember that. And I think I'm still doing that to these days. I mean, up until now. And one thing that I have noticed is that I don't love myself enough. As loving as I am, it's really hard to love myself. And it's been a struggle. It really has been a struggle since a little guy. As we've talked before, I think a lot of this stems for me trauma when I was 3 years old in a nursery school. And I think it has really kind of shaped my life in some different ways, with relationships, to putting myself first before I put other people first. And really, the bottom line is never taking care of myself emotionally or physically. And I'm really working on that now at 51 years old. It's not been an easy road. So, yeah. Don't really know where to go with this to the next, I guess to the next next words that I wrote was hard work.
No. Are you on the front still?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So just keep rolling with that.
Yeah, I mean, however, the format is whatever the format is supposed to be. So you lead, and
Okay.
I take your lead, and then we go from there. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'll say one more of these, and hardworking, I think is definitely in my DNA. Learned that from my mom and my dad growing up. My dad was always seemed like the hardest working guy that I knew. But that's a double-edged sword. It's really a double-edged sword. So when I don't want to be present in certain situations with people, family, friends, I bury myself in work. And I guess that's a way of hiding and running from what's really going on in front of me. And that has been the biggest struggle for me, is to slow down and stop burying myself into work.
Oh man, slowed. Thank you for, man. That I'm resonating, and hardworking is one of the words that I've used since I first started this thing. And that was my word all the time.
Yeah.
On the front, like hardworking. And when you said buried yourself, oh man, that's like when I don't want to deal, like I'm clear what I can be good at. I can be good at doing, like I can be good at doing, like I'm a doer. And from young, right, taking care of everybody else. I don't think I had a choice about being. I'd be really curious in understanding how the circumstances that you began to like take care of everybody else and look out for everyone else. Because I was told I had to be the man of the house. I was told that I had to be helping everyone. Take care of your mom and your sister and your brother. That's what my uncle said. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. And I didn't have a father in the house, so he was like, "Okay, uncle knows best." That's what he said I have to do. And I took it serious. I took the job responsibility like to heart.
Yeah.
So being a man at 7, I mean, imagine me being in elementary school or middle school, teachers trying to tell me what to do. I'm like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been a man already. By the time I got to middle school, I'm like, I've been a man already 5 years. What are you talking about? Who do you think you are? You think I'm worried about your rules? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that those patterns, those early recordings of that I keep replaying, right?
Yeah.
You're in charge. You got to be the man of the house. Be in charge. Be in charge. Be in charge. So who do you? There's this old I think his name is Earl Nightingale, if I remember right. Or Paul J. Meyer. One of those two people, and they're two different people, but nonetheless. But one of them had this audio that I got back in early 2000, and it was called "Who Motivates the Motivator." Right? If you're the person who always helping everybody else, helping to rah everybody else, cheer everybody on, who helps you? Who do you go to get some juice, some inspiration, a little bit of boost, a little bit of fire when you're feeling like burnout? And those, the audio, by the way, was not helpful, but nonetheless, it was the question that woke me up to this idea. That's right. Who does do that? We're starting already, man. We're on the front still. We're still on the front. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's I never really looked at it like that. Who motivates me? I never really. Well, I can name a handful of people. You're one of them. You're one of the people that motivates me. I think about you often, and I'm like, this man is following his passion, his true calling, and helping young men be the best they can be, and to be true to themselves, and be open and honest with what's going on with them.
Man, I do want to thank you, brother. I mean that. I appreciate that, and that means a lot. I do my best, and man, even just as I'm thinking about what I wrote on the back, and I'm gonna get there, like that helps, right? Like that, your words right there, that one sentence helps, because sometimes, like, truth be told, I think you said it in your when you were opening, and I was like, oh man, did we jump to the back already? You said something like believing in yourself. Like, man, I mean, that's not what you said. That's what I felt, and that's what I heard, and because it's my language to myself. Like, where does that? Why? And sometimes it connects to that hard working, because I work so hard. I'm like, shouldn't I be farther along right now? Shouldn't I be? It's never enough. It's never good enough. It's never good enough. That's the best way to say it. And I think that it happens in a place in my mind, and some even subconsciously, where I'm like, even when good stuff happens, I'm like, yeah, but I celebrate maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe a minute, and then we're back to it again, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you about the front. Let me tell you the front. It probably connected to the words on the front. So here's the mask.
Excited.
I wrote excited, dedicated, and intense. And I think I wrote intense. Only a few people see the intense part. Like, normally I'm like, just, I'm just smiling. I'm just kind of like trying to keep it light, but like people who are like on our team, they see behind the scenes. They see like I don't stop. Like, my schedule is usually pack to pack. It's like when I'm not in a meeting, like another meeting gets planned, just by phone or by email, or like I'm going from this thing. My desk is piled high of stuff on both sides of me right here. If you could see this desk, you would be like, what the heck is going on with you? I'm like, yeah, that's that, and that's that book, and that's that post-it, and that's that. It's everything on this desk. But when I think about it, I'm like, oh man, maybe I'm too intense for some people. Like, I've had to tell some people when I interview them for the team, I said, listen, I just want to let you know that, this is like a 17-year-old startup. Like, startup energy. It gets like boom, like it's 17-year-old though, right? So it has a mind of its own. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like we're 17 years, we're finally starting to feel like the wheels are moving sometimes, and I'm not pushing them, right? It's like, oh man, things are happening, which feels good when I let it, right? Sometimes it's not fast enough, right? Sometimes I'm like, if I compare it where it was a year ago, man, it's like night and day. A year ago, our whole calendar wiped out. I was like, behind the scenes, how are we going to survive this? And in front of the scenes, I was like, it's going to be okay. Everybody's going to be okay. Don't worry. It's going to be okay. But when everyone left the office and I was here by myself, I was like, what are we going to do? How are we going to how we're gonna survive this, So it was, yeah. So a lot of that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that hits that just what you said, that really hits, that really resonates with me deep. It really resonates deep. Wow.
Man, oh man. I feel like we started on the back or somehow. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. I think because I kind of rolled it together, maybe. Sorry.
No, sorry. It's exactly what it was supposed to be. I was like, oh, okay. We in it. We fully in it. This is what we do, right? Yeah, I think that we've had really meaningful conversations. Like this is not just this. This is us doing this in this interview style for the Mask podcast, but I think most times our conversations are real and heartfelt, right? We don't waste a lot of time with a lot of weather and sport. Like we jump in, like, and I think I appreciate that about you, is that we could have conversations that go to the heart of what's really what we're feeling quickly, as opposed to like, all right, we've been talking for an hour now. Can we talk about something real now? As there's no need to wait around for all of that. Like it's like, and I think I need that in my life a lot, to be able to like not have to have it all figured out or have all the answers or all of that. So, man, thank you. So, folks, that was the front. And for those of you who know who's ever been in this conversation with us, that
Wait till we get to the back, right?
That is it's already begun. It's already begun. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. All right. Let's take a breath together. Let's take a breath, because I feel.
Yeah, I'm a little.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. You want to?
We're having a good time doing this, at least.
Oh my goodness! So it's great. It started with me trying to figure out what I was gonna even write. Right. So that was the first part. I was like stuck. Like, why am I? I mean, it's like I'm starting brand new again. But it feels good in that way. Like that's not familiar. It's not comfortable 100%, but it's pushing me. It's growing me. I'm trying to find the words. It's growing me in a way that I think it only could have happened after last week's episode, because I'm clear what I probably would have written, but now that I'm trying to write, go deeper to my own journey, because I'm the host, so I've talked to a lot of people. Yeah, but so I'm excited. So let's just go there. Let's just go. It's your choice. You get to go first, or you tell me. We're on the back now.
We're on the back now. Okay. I'm gonna I'll let you. How about you? I'll let you take this. You want to?
Okay. Right, yeah. I don't appreciate that. All right. So here's the back. I'm just letting everybody see it. The back says worrier, doubt, and seeking permission. And I think that's what I was kind of talking about a little minute ago. I was talking about this idea of like, so worrier, it's kind of like, okay, so things worry me. I try not to get too over worried, but I think about other things a lot. I worry about people. I worry about all the young people who I'm still in touch with and who are, I call them young men, but they're adults now. They're, 25, 30. They're living life. They're experiencing life on their own terms, and I worry about them. And like my mom's been trying to show me where all her paperwork is. And I don't want to see it. I think it may, like, I'm the oldest. How funny, right? So I need to know where all the stuff is, just in case of an emergency. And every time she tries to show me that file cabinet, I know where the file cabinet is, but I don't want to know where the key is. Like, I don't really want to ever think I'm going to have to open it up. And so subconsciously, I think consciously, I know I need to let her show me where it all is, because subconsciously I'm worrying about it a lot. But I try and play a mind game with myself, like I'm never gonna need to see it. I'm never gonna need to know where it all is. Although I'm realistic. I know I'm very mortal. I know that there's a finite time I have on this earth. But I just I don't want to think about losing her. So the story I tell myself is that if I don't know where the stuff is, it's a mind game that I'm playing with myself that I know it's not even real. And so that's the part of worry. It's really behind the scenes. I don't talk about it usually ever. But I am clearer today than ever before that I need to let her show me where the stuff is. I need to know where it's at, just, for the reality of life. And so that there's less worries later. Doubt. Yeah, like, man, this organization, 17 years, like I dreamed that it would be further along. I've dreamed of that we would have like we have a bigger office. I dreamed of a lot of things in terms of when you do your visioning and dreaming and dream boards. And I think things are not moving at the pace that I would have chosen them to move at, but I'm clear that sometimes it's doubt. And I'm wondering, is my doubt in the way? Like, Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich says a definiteness of purpose. The people who have achieved great things, when he wrote that book, he talks about them having a definiteness of purpose. Like the people talk about the secret, right? They talk about you just got to keep your mind focused on the thing you want. Don't focus on the things you don't want, because your mind doesn't know whether it's the things you want or don't want. It's just focusing on it, right? And if your energy is going towards doubting that it's going to happen, then maybe subconsciously, or even, because you're thinking about it, it's conscious, right? Maybe you're thinking about it not working. Maybe you're thinking about it not. And so I bounce back between knowing what all the books have said and all the researchers and all the people have said, and then what happens in my own mind when I'm doubting that is going to grow to what I believe is going to grow to. I believe it. More days than not, I can see it. When I write in my journal, when I'm like, oh, we're gonna have this, and everyone's gonna have a polo, and the small stuff, but it's big stuff when you're in a dream mode, right? And I also doubt sometimes. And the seeking permission part, I think, is one that is kind of like, oh goodness, like, do you like this book? And a lot of people have heard me talk about the book before, and I'm making a lot more progress than I have before. I don't know if I'm seeking permission or if I've been seeking. Maybe. I mean, I'm always impressed at people who are like, I don't care what nobody thinks. I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody to tell me. Like, I'm like, man, and I can say those words. I can even make you believe that I believe those words, right? But sometimes when I'm sitting by myself, just with a piece of paper or with my computer, and it's on my calendar, Ashanti's time to write, and I'll sit there, blocked out an hour, and I got nothing. No words are coming. I'm like, and then I'll get a phone call from somebody, and I'm talking for an hour, and it's no big deal. And I'm like, what is happening? And because, like, I know that I'm more. I think my mind works when I'm in communication with people, when I'm in relationship with people, when I'm connecting with people. It doesn't do the same when I'm sitting by myself, even when I give myself time to work on it. So I've been wondering, I've been working on a lot of those. That's what I've been working on in the last couple of weeks. I've been really working on who I've been seeking permission from. And I think I've been seeking permission from that 8-year-old in me who I ignored for so long, and who I told, nope, you don't get to, nope, your needs don't get to get met. Your needs are not important right now because your job is to take care of everybody else. And I put him away, and I just cut him off. And maybe that's what I've been seeking permission from, is from him first apologizing for, like, man, I think it was like apologizing to him for saying, look, your needs don't matter. And from now on, I'm going to honor you and your story and your journey. And before I try and honor anything else, that all this happens because of you, because of the things I was trying to protect for others. And so I think that that's what I've been coming to a grips of, is that I have been seeking permission. I didn't know who I was seeking permission from. I didn't know the permission was from myself. I thought I was seeking permission from somebody else to say, Ashanti, you got a lot of talent. You can write this book. You can change the world. And maybe I thought I was looking for it from outside, because I was unwilling to think that somehow I could give myself the permission, that I had been ignoring 8-year-old Ashanti who was just looking for somebody to see him. And that's the back of my mask right now. Thanks for that, man. Thank you.
Wow, that resonates so deep, brother.
Man, man. Thank you.
I have a lot of love for you, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
A lot of love for you.
Man, oh man. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Almost life is and we've had a lot of parallels in our life, from childhood to adulthood.
Yeah. Real.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man. Thank you. Well, I think when you and I met, it was through that circle, and that's been work that's been helping me to kind of continue taking off my mask, and and the work that I get to do, just really bringing it to the place of, like, it no longer gets to hold me back. It is the fuel that I would use to push me forward, as opposed to using the fuel to put on the brakes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing times in that circle with all these amazing men, Yeah, I just remember us connecting in that circle, and I had already watched the mask you live in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, I get to meet this guy, and it just, right there we connect. I'm like, oh, this is one of the best days of my life.
Oh man.
So, wow, everything you talked about really resonated deeply with me. And I think a lot of young men have gone through a lot of these similar things, or are still going through it today. Even, I'm in my early 50s. I'm like, okay, it's time to start taking care of that little boy,
Yeah.
So I guess it's my turn on this one,
huh? As much as you're ready, as much as you're ready, man.
Okay. I do not have it all together. What I mean by that is, I put the mask on and I play the game that I have it all together, whether I have it together financially, the house, the cars, the family, to my emotional state. And I think that's probably the hardest one. And then I revert back into working hard. Okay, well, I feel like I don't have it all together, and I know I don't, but I want everybody to think that I do. So I'm just going to work harder and keep moving forward. And it hasn't served me very well. I'll be really honest with you. I feel like I've crashed and burned, I don't know how many times, trying to tell myself that I have it all together, and I don't.
Yeah.
And it's okay not to have it all together. It's okay. It's okay not to. It's okay to have a meltdown. It's okay to just sit and cry sometimes and just let out whatever is going on with you. And I, I, I think these circles are so important for men, to let all that out. We're programmed as young men, suck it up, be tough, just keep moving forward, and don't stop.
Yeah.
Well, eventually that bites. I mean, it comes back around for full circle in your relationships, your family, how you treat people, all those. So it's definitely been a tough ride for me. The other one, depression. And I didn't really realize this until recently. That I get into these depressed modes when I feel like I don't have it all together. I really start to beat myself up. I don't. I kind of become a recluse, and I don't reach out to anybody when I know I need to talk to somebody, or just express where I'm at. I have a really hard time with that, as far as, because I've always been the caretaker, so I can take care of myself. I'll be fine. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this is definitely not healthy, and this is not working. So I need to make a change to help myself, so I can still be in service of people at the same time. And as we know, as men, it's really tough.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You really hit something really deep for me. Never taking care of that young boy, and it started with me at 3, and never giving that little boy permission to cry or have a bad day or let anybody see that he's hurting. Just put that mask on and be a warrior all the time. And I have 2 grandsons, and if there's anything I could do in life, is to help them not to go down the roads that I went down, and with self-doubt and not being able to express themselves, and not letting, I'd like to protect them if I can, and not let all the bad come in and, drive them down that road that I don't want to see them go down. I want to be their safe place to come to talk to me about anything.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for that, and thank you for them. Thank you for them. Like,
yeah.
I think I forgot how it all came to my thoughts about how it happened. I saw a quote somewhere, and it was like, sometimes the things that we create are the things that we needed kind of growing up, right?
Yeah.
And I think like finding that space and creating for them, for those 2 boys, like, man, he lets us talk about all the things that we go through. We don't have to like pretend, like we don't have to like be like man, just imagine what you get to help create for them, so that they get a chance to maybe enjoy their childhood a little bit more, like to be kids, to be carefree, and yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for the work it takes to get there, right? Because we know that some people, fathers, grandfathers, great grandfathers, they teach their kids the way they learned it. Hey, we don't cry here. You know what I'm saying? We don't, in this house, we don't cry. Boys don't cry, right? Like, and then we shut them down because we that's what we got, right? We got that treatment, and we said I got a job, I got a house, therefore I'm good. And we sometimes miss the fact of how much we missed in the attempt to have it all together all the time, and never feel like our stuff mattered, that our lives, our future, our goals mattered,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was able to, thank God I was able to break the cycle with my dad. He's German and his mom was from Germany. So I don't know if you ever met German people, great people, but they don't really express themselves and
Mm.
very hardworking. And there's not a lot of feelings talked about or anything like that. So my dad was raised like that. And he raised me like that to a point. And I said, I have to break this cycle at some point because when I became a father at 22, I said, I can't raise my daughter like this. There's no way. So I broke the cycle and I did the best that I could.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an easy ride, but I wouldn't change it for the world, you know. So I think if we could just realize, you know, and it's hard to break that cycle and to really look deep into yourself and say, my parents did the best they could, and I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, but I want to change some things for my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you mentioned, what are your grandsons' names?
Sonny, he's 7,
All right.
and Wyatt, he's 3.
Sonny and Wyatt.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your daughter. What's your daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Cassie.
Cassie.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's so beautiful that even though you had a daughter, you were able to do things for her that, you know, I mean, how do fathers, you know, raise their daughters? We probably see lots on TV and different things and experiences. And I'm glad that you were able to break that cycle so that, you know, like you allowed yourself to even in the parts that you felt like you wanted to do better. Like it was part of our journey. Our journey is still part of our journey. But when we get to that consciousness of saying, man, maybe I can do something different for this one, right?
Yeah.
And then that through her, what you were able to do for her helps her to be able to do that for Sonny and Wyatt, and then you get to see them and witness them
Definitely.
and take Wyatt, who you said is 3, right? So who,
He's wild right now.
yeah, there it
Oh yeah.
is. There
Yeah.
it is. And maybe the 3-year-old and yourself you weren't able to take care of, you were able to like share that love with him.
Yeah, for sure.
To be like,
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely I think if things had been I see a lot of me in him. And you know, that wild kind of crazy just fly by the seat of your pants. Where Sonny's really like reserved and artistic, and you know, they completely polar opposites. And so they have a little bit of both of me in them, so which is great, you know.
Right on.
But, yeah, it's that's the best for me. To be a grandfather is the best feeling in the world.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So
Man, oh man, oh man. Look at oh brother. Well, listen, I want to say I don't know how the time has moved faster than I could have imagined, but I want to tell you thank you. Like thank you for being here with thank you for setting off this first episode of the second year in a way that was just like what just happened? What just happened? Where'd the time go? I thought we just started. And I think that we're not only going to have more conversations. I think we're going to continue connecting in deeper ways. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Would you like to just tell folks? I mean, what you know, how they can get in touch with you, how they find you? Like, if there's, I know you. I'm not all sure all the type of work that you do. I just know you work with cars, on cars, but I don't know. So I want you to tell people what you want them to know and how they can support the work you're doing, or anything you want them to know, or how they can find you.
I work on all older hot rods, so anything 1970 and earlier. Build custom cars from the 30s through the 70s, from muscle cars to hot rods to customs to drag cars. I'm in Benicia. I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook under CT Hot Rods, and I'm also on Instagram under CT Hot Rods also. And
we'll put links to all of that in the show notes. So thank you. I'm trying to think if I've ever sat in a hot rod before. I don't think I've ever even sat in one before. Have I even? I don't think I have. I've seen them before. And I think we and I talked about me coming and seeing some of your work. So I'm looking forward to making a journey there to see a hot ride face to face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bring some of the young guys with you. Maybe it'll spark some interest, and it's a good hobby. And just to see kids get their hands dirty, and I think it's part of the trades, obviously.
Yeah,
and we need all that. But I'll have to come by one of these days. We'll have to take a ride.
That would do it. I'll have to. I have one young man who loves drawing cars, so I think maybe I have to bring him out and let him see one of those things. I'm sure he's drawn one of them before, so let him see one live in person.
Okay, great.
Right on. Well, Brother Chris, thank you for being on the Taking Off the Mask podcast. Man, I appreciate you, and I hope that I believe you kicked off this season with I call it a season. We haven't called it seasons yet, but you kicked today's conversation off with a bang, and just being in this space of me creating new words that were really beautiful that I'm thankful for, and so I appreciate you being the person who I was able to take off my mask a little bit more with, and I'm looking forward to our next communication.
Me also. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you more than you know. I have a lot of love for you, my friend.
Much love to you too, brother.
All right.
And for all you out there who want to make a mask, you can go to 100kmasks.com, 100kmasks.com. Make a mask. Maybe keep it to yourself. Share it with someone. And hope that you get to find people in your life who you can be able to take off that mask with. And so thank you for being a witness to Chris and I having this conversation today. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.
Definitely, my friend. Have a great day.
You too, man. Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie. Editing, videography is also by Ryan Louie. Graphics by Kelly Wong. And a special thanks to the team at Ever Forward, Vanessa Cortez and Kevin Romero. And I'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast. As we hit this 1-year anniversary, we hope that everyone who's been a part knows that they're a part of the Taking Off the Mask experience. And we look forward to you being a part of it as well. If you liked what you heard today, please like, subscribe, and share. And we look forward to us continuing to offer conversations that matter. Take care. See you soon.